What's up, guys? Man on the Moon here with another Walking Dead All-Stars video. And today I'm going to be starting up a little mini-series here on the channel where I'm going to be going over what I think are the top 5 characters in each class in tactics research. And today I'm going to be doing Technician because... well, mainly because I like them a whole lot. But before we get to that, I'd like to remind you to like and subscribe for more content, as I've got quite a bit more planned. Alright, now to start, I figured I'd show you guys what I got and where I'm at with everybody. Obviously, I've got a few mythics, 1 and 2 star. And then I've got Sherry down there at Legendary, and a couple of unique pluses, and then Anne at Epic Plus. I would like to mention that I'm not going to be including the Warlord and Overseer characters in any of these top 5 lists, mainly because the odds are so low. You're not likely to have them at Legendary and have their personal gear unless you've been going all out in headhunts. So because of that reason specifically, I am going to just go with the 4 main alignments. That doesn't necessarily mean that I don't think some of the Warlord and Overseers are better than the people on my list. It's just that personal gear makes a whole lot of a difference, so I'm going to just leave them off the list for that sake. Okay, so at number 5 on my list of 5 best technicians, I've got Chloe. There's a couple parts that I really like about her, right? Obviously, her ultimate is just amazing. Throw a giant firecracker at a crowd of enemies, dealing 55% attack as damage to all enemies within range 8 times. And it's so good crowd control. And honestly, it can do quite a bit of damage all on its own. But it's just great for pairing with characters that do massive AoE damage, like Kate or Lake. And it's just, yeah, it pairs really well with multiple other characters. Also, her third ability, Sulfur Attack, rips open a bag of sulfur powder, reduces accuracy by 100 and speed by 25 for all enemies on the battlefield for 7 seconds. And then at level 3 it increases to 10 seconds, which 10 seconds is actually a really long time in a fight, and that is a lot of speed and accuracy to reduce for all enemies. And finally, her passive, if Chloe is present, increases all comrades' crit rate by 2% every 4 seconds up to 20%. And it ends up at level 3, increases crit rate by 3% every 4 seconds. And it's just, I mean, especially if you have a lot of technicians on the team or a lot of intelligence characters, having that crit boost is really good. Okay, so at number 4 on our list, we have Sherry, and she is just really good at soloing. Like, if she's fully geared out and you've got that alignment bonus on her, and she can take out, she can take out near a whole team by herself with her ultimate alone. Just so much attack boost to herself all throughout her kit. She's just got massive amounts of attack boost. Basically everything increases it. Here order damage, at level 4 damage increases by 190% per attack. After Sherry successfully casts the skill, the next order's damage increases by 17%. And that's hitting the weakest enemy every time, so it's basically just a sniper shot all on its own. She's reducing energy and granting it to herself, so that's why she's just going off super quick all the time. And, you know, at level 3 down here, while Sherry is casting Threaten, the damage she takes is reduced by 60%, so it kind of even tanks her out a bit. And even at her personal gear here, during combat, if Order reaches max stacks, attacks the 2 weakest enemies at the same time. And if you actually max it out, it hits the 3 enemies at the same time. And that's at the point where she can kind of just start getting insane. And she can just kind of start soloing teams. Because if she lasts to that max stacks, it is just crazy. Alright, next up at number 3 on my list, I have Lake. Now, I don't have Lake to Legendary yet, unfortunately. Because I think one of the best things about him is his personal gear right here. Just, if a shock bomb hits the enemy during combat, Lake's attack increased by 10%, stacks up to 5 times. Then at level 2, it's 15%. Level 3, 25%. And then if you get it to 30, man, once the max number of attack stacks have been reached, the cooldown for shock bomb is reduced by 50%. That's crazy good, right? Like, throws a shock bomb at an enemy to deal 180% attack as damage, stunning them for 2 seconds. So you're going to be stunning... you're going to be stunning someone all the time, just for 2 seconds, every time. And at level 3 down here, you know, it becomes an AoE, so you could be stunning 2-3 characters for 2 seconds, just constantly. That just looks so good, the combo between those two abilities. And his ultimate, his ultimate smacks so hard. The pairing between him and Chloe is so insanely good. Just because of between their ultimates. And then his passive down here even, you know, on entering combat, he's reducing the attack of enemies and the speed of enemies. Lake is just so good, man. I really wish I would have had him on my wish list sooner. I will definitely say that. Next up at number 2 on my list, I have Chemist. And there is just so much about Chemist I like. His ultimate, just the fact that it hits everyone, is just so insanely good. And the fact that he heals himself while doing it, like I've 5v1'd entire teams on like camp defense with Chemist, just because he goes off and he just counteracts all the damage he's done healing himself. And by the time the heal's over, he's ready to ult again. Another really good part of his kit is this third ability here, Paralyzing Gas. Throws a bomb containing paralyzing gas at an intelligence type enemy, dealing 120% attack as damage and silencing them for 3 seconds. Silenced enemies can attack. And then, of course, if there's no intelligence type, it does attack a random enemy. I've found that the intelligence characters are some of the most dangerous, whether they end up being support, you know, a healer, or someone who's just a massive damage dealer, you know, like Chemist or Lake or Chloe themselves. So to stop them from doing that is just really, really good. And I would say it's probably the most underrated part, his most underrated ability. And finally, Chemist's personal gear is just, honestly, it makes him one of the best characters to me for things like Total War and the two different joint combat bosses, this, this might be the best personal gear in the game as far as joint combat goes, to be perfectly honest, in my opinion. It's just, if only it had a fourth stat there, right? Like, that would be insane, honestly. That's probably the only thing that really, like, hurts this gear versus other things. And finally, at number 1 on my list, I've got Kate. Now, Kate's been my go-to since day one, literally. I got her the day I downloaded this game. And I'm glad I did, because she is just so good. She hits so hard. Her ultimate, just a massive AoE. Cindery Bomb deals 190% attack at level 3. And just, it procs so many times. And each one of those procs, it can crit. It's just so much damage there. Also, her third ability here at the start of combat, Kate spots the nearest and furthest enemies. Those two enemies move 80% of the damage they receive to other remaining enemies. And then at level 2, when one of the two spotted enemies dies, the other one is stunned for 5 seconds. That's just, if you got somebody that's really tanky, make sure that they are one of the other remaining enemies, and make sure the two targeted enemies are getting hit hard at the very beginning. That's how I deal with a lot of Mercers and Tyreses and stuff, is just pass the damage along. And finally for Kate, her fourth ability, the ghillie suit. During combat, Kate throws a ghillie suit to grant a 300% attack shield to 2 comrades. The shield's granted to front row comrades first and stays active for 7 seconds. Level 2, their evasion is increased by 90. And at level 3, for the neutral comrades that receive a shield, their evasion's increased by 20%. I think that's one of the reasons that, personally, this ability with Rosita is crazy good. My Rosita just stands there dancing around forever, because, besides the fact that that's what Rosita does, if she has that extra 20% plus that the extra 90 multiplied by 20%, it's just, she'll just dance around the whole time, Okay, so that was my list of the top 5 technicians, in my opinion. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not really counting the Overseers and the Warlords, just because the likelihood of you having them early at up to Legendary it's just not very likely. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you think of the list. Let me know if there's any characters that I'm really sleeping on. I looked at Belle, and just based off of looking at her, I considered putting her on this list. But I've never really used her outside of Supply Run, and that just kind of doesn't count, because all the boosts that you get after each fight, it's not a realistic look at a character. And without having used her myself in a real situation, I can't really judge it. That being said, she looks so good, I almost put her on this list. But let me know down in the comments below what you think, and let me know if this helped you at all. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, and remember guys, it is a game, so try and have fun. This is going to be your friendly neighborhood man on the moon, signing off. Later guys.